Okay, hello everybody. Apologize for any delays. And I've just opened up the webinar, and my name is Ted Stevenson. And we're lucky to have with us today to give the presentation is Anu. And she is working in the as a professor for international business. And again, apologize for the short delay. I can see that we have some attendees starting to come in anew. So we'll let you share your screen and get yourself set up and take it away. And I'll be, just so that the participants can see here, I'll be monitoring the Q&A. So it's opportunities to type in questions. And so while you're presenting, if there's any questions that I can answer or information I can provide, that's what I'll be doing. And in the meantime, just give Anu a couple of seconds here to get set up, and we'll be off to the races.
Perfect. I have started my video, Ted, but I can't see if it's working. It doesn't appear to be working.
No, I don't see it yet. Just one second here. I'm just going to go to the participants and the panelists, and yeah, I can see that your video should be on. Your mic is enabled. Your video is enabled.
Right. And it was working just 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we saw you. Yeah. Can you share your screen and get your presentation up?
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. So I can see your presentation fine. So if we have a video issue, perhaps unfortunate, but, definitely I can see your presentation. So that's a good positive.
Yeah, I just thought maybe there was something I could do, because on my end, I just released the video if there's anything on your end, but.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So should we start now? Do we have everyone online?
Yeah, we have a few attendees have chimed in, and we're at 10:39. So apologize again for the delays, but
we'll start
the technical issues is not uncommon in these difficult, challenging times. But thank you, Anu. I'll put my mic on mute now and let you take it away and do the presentation. Thank you very much.
Super. Thanks so much, Ted. And I'd like to welcome everyone. And we are just talking about the International Business 131-161 program. Now, I wanted to relay that 131, the difference between them is just that the 161 is a co-op program, so that there are work terms in between. The difference being that, there's a slightly larger fee, it's a very minor amount of money, like a couple of $100, but it is the co-op version of the exact same program. So first of all, I'd like to also let you know that I'm substituting in for Janine Lafort, who is the program coordinator, and she will be the best person on a follow-up. But I have been a program coordinator in this area, so I will give you an overview of the program, about like our faculty and what you can learn. So just to give you an idea of some of the backgrounds, I always give my own. That we come from a wide sources of specialties in this faculty, because international business is so complex and so wide in scope. I have an undergraduate business degree and philosophy degree. My master's degree was in finance and political science education. I'm now completing my doctorate in business from the UK, from the United Kingdom. And so you can see there's a lot of disciplines there, and we use them all to teach this program, as well. 17 years of marketing product development experience in a variety of different industries, as well as managing and buying and selling small businesses. One extensive thing that myself and some of the faculty really bring to the program as well is a lot of international travel, a lot of cross-cultural communication. For me personally, that international travel is a passion. So this all goes into learning how to learn skills of international business. So what does this mean? What is international business? As I said, it has many disciplines like finance, sales, marketing, human resources, cross-cultural communication. And basically, you're going to have a very wide scope when you finish this program of where you go. And it will depend on what you're interested in. The areas that you could go into is like international market entry and distribution. You can go into international trade management or negotiations or trade research, marketing, finance, planning, logistics. Many of our graduates go in work for logistics companies because the program has a lot of courses in supply chain, customs. Some of our graduates go in work for the Canada Border Services because they have expertise in that customs process. I've also included a video. We don't have to see it. It was a video film, just a 2-minute video that you can watch on just some general ideas of the business program. Graduates you're going to have knowledge, skills, and abilities for careers in a variety of, as negotiators, as freight forwarders, logistics, marketing people. So what I would say is business is a program where you're learning skills. We can't teach you every situation because every day business changes. And so what we teach is how to analyze different scenarios in an ever-changing environment and have the skills to make a good business decision. And that is really what we learn in business. Now, in this program, you will also learn not just those skills of analyzing, but actual procedures like documents. So when you take a customs course, you will learn what are the documents involved in importing a product? What are the documents involved in exporting? And why are they important? And how are they implemented? So you have very specific information about that, as well as statutory and regulatory compliance. So a lot of laws, a lot of rules. You will also learn about international payment. How do international payments get moved through banks, through individuals? And what are the options of payment as well as foreign exchange strategies? And how do you place people, human resources, in an international operation? How do you place people in that environment? So I always call international business as business on steroids, because it is business, but it is so much more complex because you're dealing with different laws in different countries, different cultures, different customs, different logistics. So it is a very complex, wide-ranging amount of education that you get. Now, if you have looked on the site, I didn't want to include it here because it's 3 years, so there's a lot of courses, but you will see that you have a wide scope that will cover all the different disciplines that I just spoke of. Wanted to also let you know that we are accredited with a partnership with FIT. FIT is the Forum for International Trade and Training. This is an international organization. And after you finish this program, you can continue and apply for the FIT designation, which involves, and I actually will leave that to FIT. If you are interested in this designation, you would contact FIT and they would tell you what else do you have to do. Is it an exam? Is it a course to get that certification? And that's one more certification that it will help you out in the job market. Now, the world is basically a global marketplace now. We have, since globalization really started accelerating after World War II, but now it has really moved to different heights. And of course, with the pandemic, it has really moved much, much higher as well because of all the logistics and delivery systems. So there are a lot of opportunities in international business because almost every organization in some way is international. Even if they don't leave this country, they're still buying international supplies. So there are a lot of opportunities, such as forecasting replenishment analyst, someone who's looking at ordering, procuring supplies for their company, a merchandise assistant, a purchasing assistant, a purchasing coordinator, a logistics coordinator. These are some of the jobs that our students have gone into, but recently we've really worked at widening the scope. And the scope is, I started a relationship with the Royal Bank and one of their vice presidents there. And since then, they have been the first major bank to hire, not go to a university of Toronto to recruit some of their trade finance banking people. They come to George Brown, and we've received a great number of jobs. So banking is another sector that we're very strong in, and as well, different other freight forwarding companies and logistics, as well as I mentioned, the government and Canada Border Services. Here are some of the admission requirements. I included them in this presentation because it's important to know them. I would add the caveat, though, that admissions is a separate area in George Brown from the faculty in the program. They can answer in great detail any question you have on that. And I have provided some links for that site. And mature student status, that is a very viable. We welcome mature students, and you can get more information with that about admissions. And I tried to speak a little quickly, but I think we do have time for this little 3-minute video now. So I think let's just watch it because it gives you a little bit of a wider scope. Let me try to do this. And I haven't done this, Ted, about the video. So how would I do that? Are you there? Share set.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you're going to, when you share your screen, there's just a little blurb that says you have to share the audio as well. It's the same as in Blackboard, basically.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where I would find, like where I would get, because I have a tab open for it. I'm going to exit full screen and take a look at this. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
I have a tab open for the video, so hopefully now it will show up. Just 1 second. Share screen.
Yeah, on the share screen, you'll see that little click box to share audio as well. Same as in the Blackboard, bottom left-hand side.
Right.
Exactly.
But for some reason, I'm not seeing my tab. So maybe I have to open the tab. That might be it.
Yeah.
Okay, just 1 second. I'll be 1 second. I think we've got it.
Because as co-host, I think you have full control there that we should be able to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I think that, here we go. Share screen. Here it is. All right, I got it. So let's just watch this little video. It was shot a couple of years ago to give you a wider scope of what international business is about.
Yeah, there we go. You can see it
There we
perfectly.
go.
Thank you, Anu. Yeah, fantastic. Way to go.
Fantastic. Okay, let's watch this video.
Imagine a career in which you work with organizations across the globe to create new and innovative business solutions. International business graduates can use their skills in Canada or take them just about anywhere in the world. Right now, the growth of international trade is unprecedented. Why is that? Well, think about how the products that you love the most, your phone, your car, your clothes, were made. Virtually every company, product, and service has an international component. And what about Canadian companies that want to sell their products and services abroad? We've all seen the rise of Chinese manufacturing. Canadians buy millions of made-in-China products every year. But did you know that Canada is benefiting from international trade the other way? by selling to China. This is due to the dramatic increase of affluent Chinese consumers, and they love our Canadian products. For example, Ontario wine producers, recognizing this demand for Canadian products, have expanded their reach into the lucrative Chinese market. A great example of international business at work. Here's how. It begins with business analysts who research and devise a Chinese expansion strategy. The strategy is then taken over by international marketers in China who have a deep understanding of local tastes and preferences. Supply chain managers, logistics coordinators, customs analysts, and freight forwarders work together to make sure that the right wines are produced and shipped at precisely the right time. Ontario wine producers have been successful in these efforts. China is now the largest importer of Canadian ice wine in the world. All of these international business functions are career possibilities once you complete an international business program at George Brown College. If you want to represent Canada on the global stage, this is an exciting program for you. Want to learn more? We've created some videos with real business professionals that profile different international business careers. Click here to check them out. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, that worked well. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Russ Rufino.
Oh, I just better shut that off now. Hang on one second.
Just while we pause, I'm just noticing we have a Q&A functionality. I think the participants should be able to type in some questions. So if there's any questions, feel free to type it into the Q&A right now.
Absolutely.
The other thing, Nu, just to moderate a little bit,
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the diversity of the students in the program? I mean, I'm teaching in the finance side. As you know, we get a lot of newcomers to Canada. Sometimes they think English is not their first language. It's a disadvantage. I like to remind them that we live in the most multicultural city in the world. It is international business. Language, having a second language, being from another country must be an advantage, studying in international business and trying to get some of these trade finance roles where you have perhaps global experience or global language or global outlook.
Absolutely. We're in a very multicultural environment in this country, and international students enrich our programs because we all learn from each other. In the classroom, I will ask sometimes when I'm talking about a case study that takes place in China, I'll ask the Chinese students that have come in and ask what their opinion is of what they see in right on the ground. So I think that is a great plus in our program, is that we really value diversity. And it, as Ted said, you said that our whole student population is very diverse.
Is there any questions at this point from the participants? We have about 5 more minutes left. Typically at the end of these sessions, we leave 5 minutes for Q&A. I know some people are always a little bit shy to ask a question, but there are still some participants online.
Anyone? It is a 3-year program. It's quite intense. It's a busy program, but if you want specifically that international view on business, then I think that this might be the program for you. And if that is interesting to you, not only in working in Canada, but being able to be mobile even around the world globally in your future.
Maybe with 5 minutes left, Anu, could you tell us a little bit more about, like, do you have a co-op program? Like in the finance section, we've got a co-op program, and despite the pandemic, et cetera, we've been having some pretty good student success stories. They have been getting jobs. The co-ops have been there. The placements have been there. We've been using LinkedIn a lot to share student success stories and try to stay connected. How are things? I mean, the banks are all showing record profitability. I think, in my humble opinion, things are more challenging, but not impossible right now. How's the prospects for the students, in your opinion, these days?
I think the prospects are very positive. But I would stress that they, when a student starts with our college, we have a strong career services, we have a strong co-op program, but their networking is also very, very important. And we are now, due to the 2008 financial crisis, our banks really stood up with great regulations. And that's why I started working with RBC to hire our business students, because we are now considered one of the gold standard banking areas in the world. And I think there's a ton of opportunities, Ted, and we have been working really hard to get our students jobs as well during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's encouraging to hear.
And I would like
Okay.
to add,
Yeah, go ahead.
something about RBC and when I was working with them. This is a really good thing. We hear a lot about work terms being, volunteer and unpaid. When you work with the big banks, they're not allowed to do that. They pay you. And so that's a positive. So, Canada is really placed in an international environment for trade. We are in a great spot because, number one, the world, we have the entire world living in our country. So there's many connections going around the world with people who are living here and doing business, as well as Canada. The brand is very trusted around the world, and Canadians are very trusted as business people. So I think as far as having a Canadian educational credential and international, it is a very positive thing.
So I think we're just down to a couple of minutes here. One last thing, Anu, I'll just ask you. Like, one of the things I remind students or prospective students, we're very lucky at George Brown College. I've been here 3 years full time. I don't think I've ever had a class with more than 40 students. And in general, on average, we have like 25 students in the class. So I get to know them as individuals. I get to help them individually with reference letters or connections. What's the typical average class size in your international business program?
Well, it depends. Like I teach in the postgraduate mostly. I do teach in undergraduate as well. The maximum we would have would be 50, but it's a lot of times 35, 40, depending on every semester, right? And that's about it. And it's the same situation, Ted, that you mentioned, that the faculty really get to know the students. And the students get to know the faculty, and it becomes a more of a learning environment and a relaxed environment that way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big advantages of George Brown that people don't really realize, that we don't have these 300-person auditorium classes, where you're just filling out a bubble sheet, multiple choice question.
Yes.
As like I did my undergraduate at Western, and you know that you take economics and there's 200 people in the class, and you sort of shuffle through the system. And that's the thing about George Brown, is that the co-ops, the closeness to the professors, the closeness to the industry. I tell everyone the system is working. People are coming to Canada, they're enrolling at George Brown, and they're getting jobs, and they're moving on with their careers.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. And I think that is a great synopsis that we really, and plus I'd like to add one thing. We're the downtown college of one of the largest global city in Canada. And Bay Street, which is our business area, is right down the street. So we are able to make a lot of connections for our students to the business environment as well.
Yeah, so there was just one question here. It's it says, are we going to get better jobs? I mean, the advanced diploma, which is a 3-year course. I'm not sure if I fully interpret the question, but you've got the B131 and the B161. Is there any difference in the job paths between those two programs?
The only difference in that is the co-op version is the 161, which gives you more, that's definitely wonderful to get the experience. I think what the student's asking, we have some 2-year general business programs.
Oh, okay.
And they're asking, should I take the 3-year? Well, here's the difference. If you want to just get a taste of business and you're not really sure, you can take the 2-year and come and add on the 3-year later. But the 3-year is very, very helpful because we have programs with Ryerson and other universities where you can pathway into a business degree from university with our 3-year program. So if you're planning, let's say, to go on and do more studies, then the 3-year. If you're trying to get a taste of, and you really don't know what you want to do, the 2 years a good option, and then you can add on.
Okay. All right, so we're at 11:01. I've got a message here on my Teams from Jackie Tan saying the student panel starts at 11. Do encourage the folks in your rooms to join that session. So I believe that there's another meeting where there's a student panel, and it's giving any of these participants the opportunity to go in and ask questions and get answers from students that are in our programs right now. So we'll just give it. Yeah, we'll give it one last call out, because we're at 11:02. We've got a few participants still online. Any questions, type it in. If not, we're getting very close to wrapping up, and I want to thank Anu for her time. I've definitely learned something here. Sometimes I wish I was younger and could change my majors.
Oh, well, be like me. I'll tell you one thing, I've never left school. I'm taking courses to this day.
Yeah, I know. I see that PhD. My focus has been on the tech these days, setting up kind of my neat little
oh, cool.
My little pod class that I have here, which is kind of fun.
That's wonderful.
Here I am in my office, and here's my outdoor camera, my little duck cam.
Oh my God.
Here I am with my GoPro.
Yeah. I'm just a novice at this.
Well, I think we're going to be online here for a while with my green screen. Yeah. So, this is a very good one. Last question, which is a great one. We get this all the time. Can I turn my 3-year course to a 4-year graduation program?
Yes, you can. What you can do is the 3-year course is accepted by Ryerson and other universities that we partner with so you can get a 4-year degree. You would have to do 2 years at Ryerson, and then you have an honors Bachelor of Business degree, as well as your George Brown diploma.
Yeah, see, that's an important question on the finance side for some of our students, because sometimes, there's certain like on the CFP side now, certified financial planners, FB Canada is going to introduce a minimum requirement that it has to be a bachelor degree.
Right.
So that's often a question that we get regardless of the program is, I understand this diploma, but is that cutting me off or limiting me from other future opportunities? And if I decide to progress, how does it get transferred from the 3-year to 4-year? And I know we have such connections with Ryerson. I've had students in the finance side get the diploma, move on to Ryerson, get the degree, and being promoted already within the TD environment. So I think there is flexibility on that.
It's all about options, and we try to give our students as many options to go to different areas.
Yeah. Okay. So I think on that note, I think we're pretty much done. Thank you, Anu. Great session. And for students, if they want to join the session at 11 o'clock with the students, I highly encourage you to do that.
Thank you, Ted. You were excellent. Thank you for guiding me through this. And thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed the session.